English translation, Sfath's explanation. Saturday, the 3rd of February, 1945, 12:10 HRS.
Edouard, listen very closely to what I have to say to you. It is not for no purpose, rather for certain reasons that the series of our meetings has come about. The cause for the argumentation leads back to determinations which lie very far back in the past, and according to which, during the time of your present life, you are fitted into a certain task determined by yourself, as was the case repeatedly in your spiritual line of reincarnations in former lives and in other personalities and bodies, in order to fulfill the mission of a proclaimer and to bring, to the whole of humanity, peace, true love, freedom, and unity, as well as open, unencrypted knowledge of the spiritual matters and that which pertains to creational laws as well as wisdom. Because of your self-determination, which far precedes the present, you have entered life as a proclaimer of the truthful creational laws and recommendations, and thus as prophet, whereby, however, you will only take up your actual mission and fulfill it when the time has become ripe for it, namely, with the date of the 28th of January, 1975. Until then, you will be rigorously learning in many countries of this world, and with different teachers who are informed about your arrival and who have been in connection with me for some time, or will be in connection with me in the time to come.
Edouard Albert Meyer at 8 years of age.
As with all really great proclaimers and sages, who have taught here on the earth since time immemorial, and have brought the entire humanity the teaching of the Spirit, peace, love, knowledge, harmony, and wisdom, as well as real freedom, you have also been born an inconspicuous human being. And, as with all genuine proclaimers and sages, you will also first have to learn very much before you will take on and fulfill your task at your predetermined time. Thereby you must, however, consider that you will have to endure a quite adventurous and hard life, often full of privation, which, from the year 1965, will still increase in a form which will demand very many powers from you in every regard. This will particularly lead back to your spouse, who you will meet and marry in the named year, which, however, is inevitable and will be very closely connected to your mission. Hence, your marital step is therefore necessary, because your true powers, which you need from that time onward, will only be built up through this path which you must take. Realize, nevertheless, that everything concerning this, which intrudes on you, will be merciless and absolutely inevitable, because only by you passing and also mastering this hard lesson will you be able to fulfill your duty unswervingly and without fickleness, as well as without doubt, absolutely honestly, modestly, and in real love and joy for your task and for your fellow human beings. Thereby, however, you will not be spared from grief, of which there will be very much, nor from libelous accusations and hate, which will often lead back to your spouse. Yet you must powerfully and unwaveringly confront these attacks, which will also be underpinned by attempts against your life, because only if you master everything are you able to fulfill your mission. However, you will not have to endure the worst machinations forever, because your spouse will maliciously turn away from you when she finally recognizes that you follow your path unwaveringly and that you will fulfill your mission. Unfortunately, she will, however, be so blinded by hate that she will covertly spread further slander about you and will practice intrigues against you. But you will not have to pit yourself against it if you are studious, as I instruct you to be. You are already now wise for your age in a way that old human beings feel drawn to you, enjoy conversation with you, and are astonished over the knowledge that is now already yours. Thus, they also often ask you for advice. Truthfully, your words contain a vibration which testifies to a great inner power and which helps human beings. Thereby, you are able to eliminate non-virtues and bad things, as well as strife and ignorance. Because of this inner power, which also expresses your modesty and your honesty, as well as your love for human beings, a great trust is also placed in you, to which you have already done justice since our acquaintance, and you are constantly making an effort to never impair or misuse it. The value of your words and your virtues lies in the inspirational form in which you impart everything. When you speak with human beings, then your words contain such a modest and honest power that they do not simply fade away unheeded. Rather, they are contemplated, and the actual truth is sought in their meaning. This contemplation of your words occurs in a meditative form. Then action also results accordingly. Your name is Edward Albert Meyer, and, as the value of your given name expresses, you are a guardian of the treasure, which, in this case, relates to the treasure of the spiritual teaching which you will learn in all things and teach the human beings. However, you will not be called this name all your life because on a certain date in Tehran, in Persia, you will receive the name Billy, with which you will become known worldwide. The designation Billy Edward Albert Meyer will be added, which results from the initial letters of all your names, thus from Billy Edward Albert Meyer. But nevertheless, you are only a simple human being, and will also remain as such in honesty and modesty. You will not make a fuss about your person, rather, at a given time, establish yourself in the background, so as not to be regarded as something special, and so as not to let yourself be admired and worshipped. And you will do very well at that, because the human beings of Earth are too concerned about creating idols for themselves, to which they dependently and pathologically oblige themselves, and which they emulate, and in regard to which they deny their own individuality. That is not permitted to be, and thus you will do well to go your way of modesty and honesty and being in the background, which is now also already your distinct manner. Work in silence and do not go into the public too much. Let others do this for you, because it will not happen to them that they will be courted and worshipped. Perform your work and mission in written form, and remain in the background if possible. Only bring the spiritual teaching in direct verbal form to those human beings who will belong to a close group which will assemble around you. Yet also, for them, be only like a mirror which they can look into, and can only see you yourself, indeed just as you are and as you present yourself to them, so that they see that you are also only a human being, the same as them, and not a higher being placed above them who only looks down on them. But nevertheless, be like a fire, and do not stay too far from them with the warmth of your love, so that they can come to you at any time and feel your warmth, security, and love, as well as your peace, your freedom, balance, and harmony. However, do not get too close to them with your knowledge and with your wisdom and with all your powers, so that they do not burn themselves. Hence, also, do not use your powers of consciousness for official demonstrations. Rather, make use of them in your group, which will be established in 1975, only to provide evidence that the powers of the consciousness and the spirit can be used, and can therefore also be developed. Thus, learn the correct distance in relation to the human beings, so that you do not come too close to them, however, also do not stay too distant from them. You have come into this world in order to give, not, however, to take. Hence, always take only that which is rightly yours, which you can deem to be your own earnings, or which has been given to you out of love, respect, and connection in friendship. Thus, never demand anything for yourself if you have not performed the corresponding work for it. Every work is worth its wage, yet you should never demand more. But you will not be able to disseminate your written works without payment, because that is impossible through the money economy system of terrestrial humanity. But you should not give attention to that, because the time and your traditional teaching of the Spirit will bring with it that, in the emerging group, the truth of the teaching will be recognized and, accordingly, also financial means will be made available with which your writings and books can be professionally prepared and disseminated at reasonable prices. Every beginning will indeed lie with you, for which reason you should work and be frugal in order to be able to finance the start of your mission when the time has become ripe for it. Yet already at the beginning of your task, you will find modest help which will, however, quickly expand. However, never demand, because you and your mission are not the same as the religions and the groups and circles and so forth, which have sprung from them, as well as their leaders, preachers, and head persons. Always give everything which you are able to give when the human beings are ready to receive. However, never give more with respect to the teaching, its knowledge and its wisdom, than the human beings are capable of understanding and coping with. The rule proves that they always want to know more than their intellect can cope with. So, for that reason, be told that you should always teach and reveal only as much knowledge and wisdom as is demanded by the current state of the human being's understanding. Once the understanding and grasping of the actual truth increases in regard to the learning material, then the new understanding can be expanded in its value and its details in accord with the teaching. However, as a rule, this first comes about at the point in time when a correspondingly precise question is brought forward. Nevertheless, always be aware that it will only ever be a few who will really ask about the actual and essential in reference to the essence of everything spiritual and creational, and, for the sake of their learning, you will fulfill your mission in this life through your current personality. You are in this life in order to teach the human beings the truth of all truth, so that the human beings will gain clarity and free themselves from the false teachings of the religions and their outgrowths. Through the spiritual teaching, which you will teach and spread from 1975, the real truth and light shall come to the human beings, thereby fulfilling the earth human beings' deepest wishes for true love and freedom, for peace and harmony. For the spiritual teaching, which has been the teaching of Nocodemian, Henoch, and all your former personalities since time immemorial, you should, as it was in all past times, only require as a reciprocal gift, a will to learn, love, peace, freedom, harmony, joy, diligence, equitableness, and humaneness, as well as the quality of being human, not, however, any material things through which you could achieve wealth. Because if you want to acquire such, you should create this through the work of your hands, not, however, by growing rich through the teaching. Without doubt, it will be necessary that you can also finance your livelihood, for which reason you must take it upon yourself that you, through regulated provisions in respect of your work, achieve security, which, nevertheless, may never be based upon acquisition of personal wealth. Your work will be hard, and you must work very much, and indeed in regard to the mission itself, as well as also for the sake of your livelihood prior to the mission. Moreover, your work will not be easy and limited to one occupation, because in order for you to master everything that you must master, you will learn and practice very many different occupations. That which you learn will become especially important from the year 1977, when you will construct a site of learning, and indeed in close proximity to the birthplace of your mother. You will therefore have in your life very much to do, and indeed unusually much, and also unusually much to learn and to experience. Yet this is necessary so you can fulfill your task. But that does not raise you above other human beings, thus you are not their master concerning the spiritual teaching, just as nobody can be master over you. You will certainly be a leader of a group from 1975, however, not in the form of a mighty figure, ruler, or master, because only thereby can the human beings move freely and independently in their thoughts, feelings, and emotions, as well as in their personal actions and behavior. You have come to teach unity and concord, however, not submissiveness, obsequiousness, and servitude, or dependence and fanaticism, nor disunity and dualism or trinity, as it is with certain religions. Unity and concord, connected with true love as well as with peace, genuine freedom and harmony, are not of a political nature. Rather, they are values which are only to be won through insight and through the recognition of the actual truth, and namely without money and other wealth, without war, discord, hatred, gavolt, warns, bombs, and weapons. You will create an inexhaustible wellspring of knowledge, wisdom, love, freedom, and peace, as well as harmony. A wellspring at which all human beings of all races and every faith, of every skin color and every rank, can refresh themselves. And what your desire is, what you want to bring the human beings, is unity, peace, concord, knowledge, wisdom, love, freedom, and harmony in more profound truth, and cognizant that, in the entire creational realm, in the entire universe, Everything is one and bound together. However, this oneness and connectedness with all and everything is the result of the might and the immeasurable love of creation, which gives everything selflessly and demands no payment for it. The biggest problem of the human being is his ignorance concerning creation and its laws and recommendations. This problem is not merely that of one single social class or one single religious orientation, but it is a problem of every single human being, a problem of the entire humanity. In this ignorance, the human beings are dependent on their illusions, wishes, and desires, on their addictions, vices, and on all the pleasures and material trumpery, from all of which neither the individual human being is able to liberate himself, nor the entire humanity is able to liberate itself. And through this unknowledge, an uncertainty for life spreads out, whereby hate, wars, murder, avarice, jealousy, and the urge for revenge as well as all kinds of criminality arise, such as even monstrous, destructive and annihilating weapons, such as the atom bombs, which, already in a short time, will be abused by the Americans for a deadly and annihilating function. When they destroy the Japanese city of Hiroshima in this year on the 6th of August, by means of a nuclear weapon operation, and claim hundreds of thousands of dead, then to repeat the same crime on the 9th of August with the likewise Japanese city of Nagasaki, once again, will cost the lives of around 100,000 human beings. The teaching that you will bring, the spiritual teaching, is, to that end, intended to lead the human beings on the path of truth, love, peace, freedom, and harmony. It is intended to transform the human beings and the world. And in order to bring this teaching, you have obliged yourself in regard to yourself and life, as well as in regard to creation and the human beings. You will work hard and incessantly for that, in observation of your entire responsibility. Through your knowledge and your wisdom, as well as through the power of your consciousness, your body, and through your manual work, you will point to an old new direction in love, peace, freedom, balance, joy, and harmony, which can point to progress in the entire thinking as well as in the feelings and functions and actions of the human beings. It will be your true love, with all your knowledgeable and wise values, which will help the human beings who need your help and who will accept your help. Therefore, always be openly attentive to them when they open up to you in the spiritual teaching, because your aim must always be to teach and to help. Edouard, it will be your task to awaken the human beings of Earth out of their sleep of untruth and unknowledge. You must instruct the human beings further that they must hold themselves ready for the revolution of truth, as well as for the fact of their duty, which they have to fulfill in regard to creation and its laws and recommendations. Also, adhering to this fulfillment of duty amounts to a revolution, because only a few will take it upon themselves to consciously fulfill this obligation. Nevertheless, this comprehensive revolution is not built upon politics and also knows no parties at all, because, in its essence, it is aligned with real freedom. Accordingly, every single human being has the free choice of his thoughts and feelings as well as his actions and dealings. Thus, every individual can therefore freely decide whether he wants to further turn to untruth and unknowledge, or to knowledge, wisdom and true love, peace, well-being, and balance and harmony. The teaching of the truth, or the spiritual teaching, the teaching of the creational truth, shall, however, be the signpost for every human being, so that everybody can follow it according to his own will, if he is willing. The teaching shall become a movement, which shall spread worldwide and bring peace, love, and freedom, as well as all other high values, to the human beings of this world. However, you must always be aware that evil mighty ones, the envious, slanderers, deceivers, liars, thieves, and all kinds of other negative powers, who will also undertake murderous attacks on you, will try to impair and destroy your entire work and energy, whereby also a stop will not be made to accusing you of malicious things in court in order to destroy your mission. But always be confident, because if you unswervingly and consciously do your duty to your mission, live virtuously, preserve your modesty and honesty and true love's place within you, then, ultimately, all attacks of every kind will turn out to benefit you and bring you success. Thus it will happen that everything which is negatively, fraudulently, murderously, slanderously, mendaciously, thievishly, and enviously concocted against you steadily changes itself to progress and success for you and your mission. Thereby your group, which is to be built up by you, will grow as a nucleus just as much as the external group, which will assume worldwide forms. Concerning this, also electronic and other technology will be helpful to you, because in the time to come, everything in this regard will develop so rapidly that each new thing will already become obsolete again within a few days. Thereby you will be able to spread the teaching of the truth throughout the entire world, because the information will reach its destination within seconds. Therefore, it is not necessary for you to defend yourself against the attacking behavior directed at you, because all who take action against you in any kind of negative form will only harm themselves. Therefore, always react neutrally in regard to all attacks against your person or against your mission. Learn to control yourself in these things and to always remain calm, because that is the best weapon and the best defense against any attack. You will have to learn that already now at your young age, which is why events, situations, and things will come to you that you must learn to overcome. You will have to endure much pain as a result of your thoughts and feelings, as well as through your emotions, which you must bring under control. Also, you will not remain spared from physical pain, because in 1964, you will meet a fate in which you will lose your left arm. That will, however, be an incentive for you for further hard lessons, which you will have to get through, and with which you will have to cope, through which you will enable yourself, together with the loyal who gather around you, to build up the headquarters, which you will name Simyase, Silver Star Center, and from where you, with the help of those who will stand by you, will begin and spread your mission worldwide. Aside from that, it is my request that you build up your powers and always apply and control your energies in good measure, because they will also be of just as enormous significance, so that you may do your work, as will your true love, your wisdom, and your high and far-reaching knowledge of the spiritual and creational matters, whereby I must confess that, in this regard, you will even be head and shoulders above me and all those who come after me, and maintain the meetings with you. But, for particular reasons, they will be more ignorant than me regarding this, because they also still have very much to learn, which is why you will also be a teacher to them, which, however, is something that they will first have to recognize and understand. But that will take a long time, however. Then they will recognize who you really are, which abilities and which knowledge you possess, and which former personalities belonged to your spirit form. However, it is not up to me to reveal this knowledge now, because this duty is assigned to a higher form than me, namely, the Arahat Atharsata level, which will teach you through spiritual telepathy, while I can only pass on my knowledge to you linguistically and through my pieces of equipment. Therefore also practice spiritual telepathy, in which, along with many other things, I will also instruct you, because the level Arahat Atharsata can only connect with you in this manner, whereby, however, this will only be one-sided. Thus you will receive only that which is instructive. In doing it together with me, you will, however, learn to communicate spirit telepathically, because I have mastered this form just as much as any of my people who will get into contact with you after me. This is also the form of telepathy that is able to bridge the endless distances of the universe, indeed without loss of time, while the simple form of telepathy only reaches as far as 3 light seconds, which corresponds to about 1 million kilometers. I would like to advise you to always be brave and courageous, because only thereby will it be possible that, at a given time, also the members of your group will support you bravely and courageously, because your courage and your bravery will equally be transferred onto them, just as will also many of your other values. As my investigations have revealed, it will unfortunately be unavoidable that various betrayers will enter your group, who, while they are present, and also after their departure, will want to maliciously and vengefully inflict damage on you in order to destroy you as well as your mission. Unfortunately, apart from some exceptions, these will be members who will join the group due to former determinations. I will tell you the names of all these and all other group members at a later date. Yet always be aware that, if you are fully determined, courageous and brave, honest, modest, virtuous, knowing, wisely egalitarian as well as full of power and energy, unswervingly going your way and allowing your true love to prevail, are persevering, observing your responsibility towards yourself, life, and the human beings, as well as the entire nature and its life forms, then no kinds of attacks by the human beings can harm you, regardless of whichever kind these may be. You will defy fire, water, and storm, and thereby visibly verify the teaching of the truth for the fellow human beings. But never use your powers of consciousness and of the spirit in order to gain profit or in order to put yourself on show. Because if you do apply these powers, be told this another time, then they shall be, and are only permitted to be, used for the purposes of instruction or to helpfully stand by the human beings. And if you should be asked to do such, then do not do it, because otherwise you would thereby evoke dangers through which your work and mission would be endangered. Bear in mind that, concerning this, you are now already able to generate great power through your consciousness and do things which are impossible for other human beings. However, even if you can do them, do not put them on show, except if you are thereby able to give a lesson or you use them for your own enjoyment or relief. More than ever, the coming time is developing into an epoch of great destruction and annihilation. It will begin with the criminal conduct of the Americans, when in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they bring total annihilation and destruction, as well as hundreds of thousands of deaths through the dropping of atom bombs, which will already happen in a short while, as I already explained to you. In the coming time, the human being of Earth will degrade himself much more yet, as he has done bellicosely since time immemorial, and through the murderous religions and their sects, whereby he enslaved himself, in particular through the religions, upon which he has become fanatically dependent, and for which no human life is too valuable to him that he would not murder and exploit it, as is also the case with the rulers who know no kind of scruple. However, you have come to clarify for all human beings the hard truth, with hard, open, undiplomatic, honest words, free of empty phrases, and to teach them so that they can find the right path to a higher level. But for that it is necessary that you also occupy yourself with religions and sects and learn what they are in their actual negative sense and wrong value. Thus it will be that you enter them, and that you learn, however, in your knowledge as well as in your thoughts and feelings, that you belong to no religion and no sect. Rather, you align yourself solely with the teaching of the truth. In the distant future, the teaching of the truth shall lead to the raising of the entire terrestrial humanity, namely, by the fact that every single human being, in himself, consciously recognizes his higher self, his creational spirit, and its characteristics, and also brings the spiritual values into effect in his outer being, in his personality. Be told, however, that you must learn and practice tolerance so as not to be biased or unfair concerning the religious faith of the human being. Only this enables you to teach the human beings in truthfulness, so that gradually they are able to escape from their dependency on lower powers. You must understand that. And when you understand that, then you will also live in simplicity, modesty, honesty, and love. That qualifies you to carry the message of your mission, and thereby the teaching of the truth, out into the world. And that shall take effect one day in the distant future, in that anxiety is eradicated from the world, and all human beings will be without anxiety and fear, and indeed also in association with this, that one day the use of the weapons for bellicose and murderous purposes and so forth will cease, and they will only be used for work and self-defense purposes. You must fulfill your task, and for that it is also necessary that you learn, in word and script, the language with which you will spread the teaching of the truth. It is the language which you learn at school, and of which you already have a good command, the German language. This is namely the one which is the most valuable on earth and offers the finest possibilities for bringing the teaching of the truth finely nuanced. Therefore, I myself will also instruct you in this language, so that you make it your own in an unusually large number of values and learn to master it to the greatest extent possible. As well as myself, also helpful to you will be our linguists who know and command the German language incomparably better, in all its details, than is the case with all terrestrial linguists. Thus you will learn a good and fluent, expressive, and very extensive language, for which many will envy you. You will also develop your own unmistakable and clear writing style, with which you will construct all your writings and books, to the same degree as you will with telepathic and technologically telepathic and spiritual telepathic transmissions. You will reproduce your records, which relate to this, faithfully and without any falsifications and without your own additions, however, aligned according to your style of words and writing, so that it becomes unmistakable that it will only be you to whom the messages, pieces of instruction, and the face-to-face talks, which will follow in later times, are transmitted. That will therefore be a necessity, because many cheats, thieves, charlatans, victims of delusion, insane and profit-greedy persons will steal your material, falsify it, and thereby make a profit. Also, it will unfortunately be that many will shamefully abuse the names of your contact people of extraterrestrial origin, as well as the designations of the pure spirit levels, and they will claim that you do not have the meetings with us from the Plejaren systems, rather they do, or that they had these meetings, which you and my successors will later name contacts and contact conversations, at the same time as you did. Once the point in time comes when these lying and slanderous events occur, when your material is thus stolen, and many swindlers report worldwide concerning supposed meetings with me and my successors, and they appear with wrong and deceitful messages, and even claim the impossibility that they are in telepathic connection with me or my successors, then these false contact persons, as you will then call them, will already thereby be recognizable as they assert that their physical or telepathic meetings and connections exist with beings from the Pleiades system of this space-time configuration, whereby, indeed, these are supposed to be my successors and I, but we do not belong to this space-time configuration, nor, therefore, to this Pleiades system, which is still very young in its existence and is little more than 60 million years old, and is absolutely uninhabited and uninhabitable in every respect, when one disregards thermobacterial life, which will disappear again in some tens of millions of years, without higher life of some kind ever being able to exist there. Consequently, spiritual beings will also never exist on these Pleiades stars. And in order to expose the future swindlers, my successors and you will not name our origins according to our own linguistic term, Plejarans, rather by the terrestrial human being term, Pleiades. Accordingly, the swindlers will use this name, whereby they will expose their own fraud and lies as well as slander. When this happens in greater measure, then you, just as much as my successors, will reveal the truth and rectify everything. You shall already now know that the successor to my person will, as at 1953, be a young woman from the DL universe, where you will certainly be taken someday. The name of your contact person will be Asket. She belongs to one of the branches of our peoples, others of which still reside in the Lyra and Vega systems, however, shifted a split second from this space-time plane, just as is our space-time configuration in which our Plejaran systems exist. The contact between Asket and you will last for 11 years, just as they will between you and me. Thereafter, you will be left alone for 11 years and must learn very much through your own initiative, after which then, in the year 1975, a contact connection with you will again be taken up, and indeed by my granddaughter, Simya Sai, as well as by my son, Ptah. They both, in addition to others, will then continuously be your future contact companions. Simya Sai is a prospective Ishrish and Ptah an Ishwish. Also, a man and prospective Ishwish with the name Quetzal will be of importance for you, as will also many others. Their information regarding your person and the origin of your spirit form will, for reasons of their own learning needs, however, not be complete. Consequently, they must first arduously work out this information, whereby it cannot to be ruled out that they will often make mistakes, which they will have to make efforts to correct. And in this respect, you will have to be the intervening and helpful power, in order to also teach them. This instruction will, however, still expand once, through it, the knowledge has been gained about what importance is attached to your person, and that this importance also leads back to all your former personalities of former lives. However, you are not permitted to speak about that and must keep your secret, which I will still explain to you at a later point in time, until the time has come in which my successors have uncovered the secret. Also, in regard to the members of your group, you shall always be silent about all things until the time is ripe to reveal new cognitions or secrets, and in fact, the need for silence is all the same, no matter what it relates to. In relation to your mission and the construction of the center headquarters, which will, without doubt, be in Hinterschmidruti in Tostal, you do know the place because you have already been there with your father and mother, as well as in relation to the group members and various other things. Initially, everything will unfortunately not go according to the determination. However, you may not reveal that to my successors, nor to your group members, with whom you will found a statutory association in the year 1978, after forming an initial group in the year 1975. I explain to you here and now that you will reach the set goal and fulfill your mission, and indeed with certainty. Much vexation and much effort, adversity and many setbacks will, however, arise as a result, which you shall already know now. But, as my look into the future has established, however, you will apply all your power and energy as well as your skill and knowledge, just as you will your love, peaceableness, and wisdom, and also all your experiences which you will have altogether collected, learnt, and built up within yourself in many countries up to that point in time. Your silence, however, is necessary, because were the knowledge about all the efforts, the adversity, the vexation, the setbacks and misunderstandings, as well as concerning the betrayal in the ranks of your own group, known by my successors and your group members, then the result would be a decline in courage, whereby everything would be destroyed. Also, the meetings between you and my successors would be endangered and would be broken off, and of that, also, the danger will already otherwise exist as a result of all the unpleasantness which will unavoidably come into being. It will, however, lie in your power, love, energy, and wisdom and cleverness, that you will handle everything in the correct measure and lead everything to its goal, whereby particularly the teaching of the truth will help you immeasurably. Exactly in this respect I must, however, make you attentive to the fact that you must clearly explain to your group members, as well as to all human beings who make an effort for the teaching, that the teaching of the Spirit is no teaching of salvation, and that you and we also represent no such thing, because every human being himself creates his own salvation, namely by means of his thoughts and feelings, through his knowledge, through his attitude and his wisdom and love, as well as also through his peace and freedom and his inner well-being. To that end, his entire work and all action also contribute, as also do manner and responsibility, how he confronts his obligations, and the fulfillment of obligations, and how he lives. You must build up great confidence for all your future, and for all the success of your works, your task, jobs, and mission, and always know that you will accomplish everything and never fail. Your knowledge, your wisdom, your true love, your honesty, openness, and peaceableness, as well as your inner freedom and your powers of consciousness and your energies, must become so mighty that doubt never arises in you that you could fail in something. All these values, to which also the virtues and many other excellent qualities belong, must become so massive, mighty, and powerful in you that they are superior to all the hostilities, and these alone will be thereby sent flying, in that you order them to flee, so they cannot take hold in you. Yet thereby to go around in healthy modesty and not let yourself be tempted is one of the authoritative recommendations which you must never break. Therefore, never expend your powers and energies doing things which would not be right. Even if your life is often threatened, never apply all your high values against the body and life of your attackers. Rather use them, in each case, always only for self-defense. And only if you maintain the correctness of your thoughts and feelings, as well as of your work and your actions, in every respect, and also use your great powers of consciousness in this form, will you be able to have true confidence in yourself and not allow this to be shaken by anything. You must be a true human being and live for life, your mission, and for your evolution, as well as for your health and your welfare. For which reason, it shall be recommended to you that you, in every respect, always exercise the necessary control over yourself. Never let yourself be infuriated, yet shout and roar if the situation demands it, yet thereby never lose your control over yourself, and do it in such a way that no negative feelings adversely affect you. Therefore, acquire confidence and the certainty that you will always maintain control, whereby you shall not, however, behave in a way which does not correspond to your nature, because the human beings shall see and recognize that you are a human being, as are they themselves. That, however, means that you are also not without fault and must learn in every respect. In spite of that, it is recommended to you that you have trust in yourself, and indeed, until your last breath. Never let yourself be influenced by false teachings, nor be deceived by hocus pocus and by conjurers' tricks and magic tricks. Rather learn to recognize their falsenesses, to which end I will instruct you, so that you are also able to see through and recognize these kinds of deceptions. Also, fortune-telling, exorcism, clairvoyance, and spiritual healing in a deceptive manner, together with many other similarly orientated things, will be brought to you, as well as automatic writing and alleged channelizing, which will, in the time to come, be called channeling. Their rule is only lying and deceit, delusion, false teaching, illness and profit-making, for which reason you shall also protect yourself from it, as well as from the false teachings and machinations of the religions and the sects which have arisen from them and continue to arise from them, which will be degenerating in such a way in the coming time that, from them, murder and mass murder will result. Protect yourself from all these things every moment of your life, because lying, deception, slander, and untruth will, in the coming time, be rife more than ever before. It will be especially so when the change of the millennium will send the human beings into excitement and confusion. These, Edward, are the words that I had to speak to you today, and the explanations that I had to give to you. Further explanations will follow at a later point in time. Until then, however, keep learning diligently and always be cheerful. If you require my help in regard to learning, then call me, and I will stand by you with advice and instruction. Always think of all my words for as many years as you may live, and follow my instructions, namely also when I no longer am, and when you have grown in your years in everything, and have become very knowing and wise and have become the human being and proclaimer, who, concerning the teaching of the truth, the teaching of the Spirit, that is to say, the teaching of the creational laws, possesses more knowledge than any other human being on your and my worlds. And this is a truth that causes me to appear, in relation to you, as your pupil, or would let it appear that way, if I could still experience the coming time of your knowledge and your wisdom. That will not, however, be granted to me. Nonetheless, however, great joy prevails in me about the fact that I may still teach you now, before you have become more knowing and more wise than I could ever become in my present life with my present personality.